Welcome back to Euro Football Daily for this week's Euro transfer talk, and it's been a busy 7 days for one club in particular. You probably know who it is, so let's get straight into the video. Unsurprisingly, it's going to be a very Chelsea-heavy episode, with the future of many of their players uncertain following the UK government sanctions on the club owner Roman Abramovich. And the name we're looking at first is Romelu Lukaku, who became the Blues' record signing upon rejoining the club last summer for almost £100 million. However, whilst he was expected to deliver the goals as Chelsea looked to mount a title challenge, he's far from delivered. After 3 goals in his first 3 games back in England, the Belgian international has netted just 2 since, the last of which came in the final game of 2021, meaning Lukaku is now closing in on 400 league minutes without finding the back of the net. Since then, the 28-year-old has also stoked controversy in an interview of Sky Italia, where he reported not being happy with his situation at Chelsea, causing him to be dropped for the next fixture against rivals Liverpool. In that same interview, the former Manchester United striker expressed a wish to return to Inter Milan, and well, that could be a possibility in the summer. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, the recent events surrounding Stamford Bridge have only strengthened his desire to return to the club with whom he won the Serie A title last season, albeit any move is likely to just be a loan. Whilst there is talk that Lukaku would take a pay cut to head back to Italy, it's also been revealed that Chelsea still owe the Nerazzurri some £70 million for their number 9, with the initial deal set to be paid in instalments over the next year. However, despite a deal arguably being in Lukaku's best interests, the player is said to be unhappy about the rumours concerning his future, and according to the Telegraph, he feels now more than ever everyone at the club should be sticking together. This is despite various reports suggesting that a number of players are exploring their options, with one agent telling Get French Football News that the government shouldn't be able to ban the sale of players, questioning if such decisions impinges on their employment law rights. Regardless, Chelsea's situation hangs in the balance, and this summer could signal the departure of a number of players. So who else could be on their way out of Stamford Bridge? You already know about the club's defensive issues heading into the summer, with Antonio Rudiger and Andreas Christensen set to leave on free transfers. There was also a belief that Cesar Azpilicueta was on the verge to a move to Barcelona, although that deal is now set to be up in the air, with Marca reporting that Chelsea could automatically extend the Spaniard's contract for a year after he made his 30th appearance for the side this season. One lesser spoken about defender at Stamford Bridge could still be heading to the Camp Nou though. Barcelona, who are said to be leading the race for 25-year-old Christensen, are also interested in Marcos Alonso, and according to Mundo Deportivo, have been long-time admirers of the former Real Madrid left-back. Despite being just 1 year younger than Jordi Alba at 31, there is a belief that Alonso is just as strong and could provide healthy competition in that position. Juventus are another major European side also monitoring the situation in West London very closely. The Bianconeri are said to be interested in Christian Pulisic, with Captain America having had a tough time since his £58 million arrival in 2019, already missing 50 games due to injury. Whilst he has impressed since the new year, notably bagging a goal and an assist in a 4-0 victory over Burnley earlier this month, the 23-year-old has previously expressed frustrations about being played out of position under Thomas Tuchel. And according to Tuttosport, the Italian outlet who are based in Juventus' home city of Turin, Jorginho and Emerson are the 2 other names also on Max Allegri's radar. It's been known for a while that Emerson is nothing more than a backup at the bridge, currently on loan at Lyon in Ligue 1. Impressing in France, Lyon are keen to trigger the purchase option in his contract, whilst Juve look to potentially hijack any deal to bring the 27-year-old former Roma man back to his adopted nation. But of course, the biggest story here is Jorginho. The midfielder followed former Napoli manager Maurizio Sarri to the Premier League upon his appointment by Chelsea in 2018. He cost the Blues £50 million, and there was speculation he could again follow Sarri to Juventus the following summer. But instead, the 30-year-old has emerged as one of the more senior players in the squad, closing in on 200 appearances for the club and donning the captain's armband on numerous occasions. Jorginho has always expressed the desire to return to Serie A at a later point in his career, and with his contract in the Premier League set to expire in little over a year's time, Calcio Mercato said the Euro 2020 champion is one of Juve's prime targets this summer. Currently valued at £40 million by Transfermarkt, it could take a sizable offer to convince Chelsea to sell one of their star assets. Although right now, anything could be possible, as our next story also suggests. It's not just players facing an uncertain future at Stamford Bridge, with Thomas Tuchel's stint at Chelsea also being into question, although not for issues on the pitch, with his side 10 points off Manchester City at the top of the Premier League. In the same way a number of clubs are monitoring the situation of his players following recent events, the same has happened with the German manager, with one surprise side in particular eyeing him up as their next boss. Manchester United are considering moving the 48-year-old up their managerial shortlist, with bookmakers now considering Tuchel one of the 3 favourites to replace Ralf Rangnick on the Old Trafford touchline, along with Erik ten Hag and Mauricio Pochettino. And what might work in United's favour is the connection between their current coach and Chelsea's chief tactician, with Tuchel having played under Rangnick at SSV Ulm in the late 1990s and being handed his first coaching role at Stuttgart by the same man a couple of years later. Chelsea's technical director and club legend Peter Cech has also said he hopes Tuchel will remain at the club, with all current contracts remaining valid and the German's deal set to run until 2024. Meanwhile, Rangnick has refused to be drawn into speculation, saying quite simply he is the manager of Chelsea right now, so talk of him being a candidate for the job here doesn't make sense. So there is a lot going on at Chelsea at the moment, but keeping it football, how many players can you see leaving the club this summer as a result? And is Thomas Tuchel really a realistic candidate for the Manchester United job? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Moving elsewhere now, as one of football's hottest talents could be set to remain with his current club, although it's not quite the feel-good story you would hope for. Florian Wirtz is already catching the eye of many a major European side at just 18, having broken into Bayer Leverkusen's side as a 17-year-old back in 2020. The teenager would briefly become the Bundesliga's youngest ever goalscorer shortly after, and still 6 weeks away from his 90th birthday, he has made 78 appearances for Die Werkself, with 19 goals and 22 assists to his name. More than half of those have come this season alone, as Wirtz opened the 2021-22 campaign with 10 goal involvements in his first 7 games. Whilst his production has slowed down slightly, Wirtz, who has 4 caps for Germany, was still an integral part of Gerardo Seoane's side and has been courting attention from the likes of Liverpool, Manchester United and Newcastle. However, the likelihood of any move happening this summer has effectively fallen to nil, after Wirtz suffered an ACL tear during Leverkusen's 1-0 defeat to FC Köln on Sunday. Immediately diagnosed after an MRI scan, a statement from Leverkusen said they will have to do without Wirtz in the long term, with the player likely to be out for the rest of 2022. The silver lining is of course keeping hold to their starlet into next season, but being locked in a 4-way battle for 2 Champions League spots means they much rather have him on the pitch than off it. Here's wishing Wirtz a speedy recovery. Last summer, Gianluigi Donnarumma was one of football's most sought-after players after running down his contract at AC Milan. Juventus were a long-time favourite to sign the goalkeeper, in line with their policy of hoovering up Serie A's best young talent, but ultimately the Italian plumped for PSG over the Bianconeri, with the huge fees being demanded by agent Mino Raiola seen as a primary stumbling block in getting a deal done. They remained interested in the 23-year-old, and now ready to reignite their interest this summer. Donnarumma's relationship with PSG is said to be damaged after a slow start to life in France, culminating in a costly era that saw Real Madrid come back to knock Le Parisien out of the Champions League. Contracted at the Parc des Princes until 2026, it would likely take a hefty fee for PSG to let the shot stopper go, despite being limited to just 18 appearances across all competitions so far this campaign, sharing duties with the experienced Keylor Navas. But what do you guys think? Could Donnarumma leave PSG so soon after joining? Let us know in the comments down below. So that's it for Euro Transfer Talk for another week. What do you make of Chelsea's current predicament? Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you like the video, or subscribe to Euro Football Daily and hit that notification bell. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. We'll see you next time.